Hello everyone, Vieroka here. There are many videos nowadays popping up on internet about which class to choose to play in the Burning Crusade, but there is a big problem in many of them ending up misleading people. Let me explain. Most videos will talk about how classes fare in two categories, PvE and PvP. When they say PvP, what they talk about is arenas, and when they say PvE, it is about raids. But in reality, PvP and PvE have two organized subcategories in themselves: arenas and battlegrounds for PvP, raids and 5-man dungeons for PvE, and how classes fare can be quite different in each subcategory. Starting with PvP, let's take Holy Paladins as an example. There is no sugarcoating it, Holy Paladins are the worst healers when it comes to 2 vs 2 and 3 vs 3. Their most used spells have a cast time, and their offensive utility is lacking behind relative to other healers. But when it comes to battlegrounds, it is a whole different story. In a battleground, as there are many people around you, you can make do with the lack of many offensive abilities, and even more because the space is much bigger and there are many more people on each side, it is easier to stay far away from the enemy, minimizing the downside of needing to cast all the time. Knowing that Paladins can pull out the highest heal per seconds with Holy Light spam, while being literally the most mana efficient healer, they become quite a good healer to play in battlegrounds. Also, battlegrounds are generally filled with hunters, but as class with the highest armor and 100% resistance to pushback mechanics, Paladins are in a much better place than any other healer while facing hunters in the battleground. Speaking of hunters, they can also be included in this example. Hunters in arena are not weak, but they have a pretty high skill floor to play at above average arena brackets. They are the class most prone to pillar hugging, and their pets are rather easy to kill. Of course, they're not bad by any means. A skilled hunter with great communication skills will always fight for the top. But it will indeed take a great communication and skill and nerves of steel to play while everyone is running into your melee range or just hiding behind the pillars, killing your pet. But when it comes to battlegrounds, it is again a whole different story. Hunter is one of the most fun, easygoing and effective classes to play in battlegrounds. It is quite common to see hunters easily leading the kills and damage done in battlegrounds of Burning Crusade. But we have talked enough about PvP. Let's move to PvE part. When it comes to PvE, it is divided to 5-mans and raids. Unlike classic, 5-man dungeons have much more presence in the TBC endgame. At the beginning of expansion, you will do a lot of 5-man dungeons for leveling, to get reputations and starting gear. Then you will start doing 5-man heroics, both for the direct boss loot and the badge system, which will reward more epic quality items as progression goes on. It is fair to say many people will spend much more time playing 5-man dungeons rather than raids, especially at the start of each phase. So, in the light of this information, let's talk about the rogue class. You will hear a lot that worst class to PvE at the Burning Crusade is the rogue class. And yes, you may consider rogue class as a weaker class in raids, especially at the start of expansion. After all, they don't bring much utility and their damage isn't so high. But as we have just established, PvE does not mean only raiding. In 5-man dungeons, rogues are actually a really valuable class to have. They have great cleave damage, they provide long-time crowd control with sap ability, they are the only class with the distract ability that can make dungeons go much faster and smoother, they are the best interrupters, they are the only class again that can unlock doors and treasure chests, which heroics have many. They can stun-lock hard-hitting mobs in heroics, saving massive amounts of incoming damage. They can tank a target with evasion up to 15 seconds in an emergency. They can save healers from getting one-shotted by blinds or gogs, and the list goes on. So is Rogue a bad PvE class, as they all say? Well, if you're a person who doesn't raid as much and gather your items from heroics and related vendors, Rogue is actually a pretty great PvE class that many tanks would like to have in their dungeon party. So next time when you are watching a class picking guide for the Burning Crusade, please remember that they are possibly leaving half of the game out when they are saying PvE and PvP, as they only mean arenas and raids, ignoring the battlegrounds and the 5-man dungeons, which many people will actually spend much more time on. Thanks for watching and have a good one.